Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Carm Capriato, Town Hall Academy, climbing out of despair. Wow, what a topic. Where the heck did I come up with that? Oh, Jesus. Okay, all right. So you talk about recruiting a panel to come on and talk about this. I'd like you to see my peoples here. Listen, every single one of us that I know in this industry has had a moment or two in their life where they weren't quite sure what the pathway was going to be. And, it has to do with money, health, family, being all alone. I'm on a mountain by myself and it's raining. And what do I do about it? Oh, it's like Naked and Afraid, right? And I don't watch that show, but every time I see it, it kind of reminds me of, first of all, crazy people, but you talk about being vulnerable, right? With me is Kevin Eckler from Foreign Car Specialists in Poughkeepsie, New York. Hello, Kev.
Good afternoon, Carl.
My friend Jerry Kazaya from the Auto Shop, Plano, Texas. Hi, Jerry.
Hey, brother. Good to be here.
Hey, thank you so much. And Carl Hutchinson, Complete Automotive, Springfield, Missouri.
Yes. Hello.
Hey,
Thanks.
are you in the Ozarks?
We are in the heart of the Ozarks.
I'm watching that Netflix series. Man, you got some bad people out there. That's all I got to say.
It's really funny because I started watching it and like 2 episodes in, it's like, yeah, I can't do that. That's too close to home. I can't watch that.
I don't know, guys. I'm addicted, and I don't know why. I just don't. Some of those series I only last 1 or 2, but this one I'm on the downward spiral of the last session. Anyway, we have credible sponsors on the show, as we always do. Hey, how do you win over younger customers? You let them see their repair in progress, rusty parts and all. You update them with live chats and invite them to pay with their phones. That's why you need shopware.com. Hey, and did you clean the fuel tank the last time you replaced a fuel pump? Contamination buildup in the tank not only impacts the vehicle's performance, but it can also damage the fuel pump. Clean the fuel tank in 5 minutes with Delphi Technologies fuel tank cleaning tool. Learn more at delphiaftermarket.com. Hey, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and thanks. So look, if you're hanging out with us on social media at all, please give us a like, a high five, check in with your city. And oh, by the way, we're recording this live because I'm at ASTE right now. and we're hanging out here in the Carm Cave. So look at guys, tough subject. Thanks for coming on. And I know this is very, very personal. And hopefully, I mean, there's only one reason you guys would come on. And that is that we can help somebody else who may be in any kind of trouble and saying, wow, I can't believe this happened to Jerry, Carl, or Kevin, or where they came from. And it's, trust me, I know it's not about I wanting to share some really tough times, but everyone who's ever come on the show is always about advancing the aftermarket and helping people. And Jerry, I interviewed you so long ago. I remember the great stories about you working for your dad and, the whole thing. You can't do business from a creeper. I mean, I love that. I mean, to me, that is one of the quintessential metaphors of how to, not run a business.
You can't run a business from a creeper. You just can't do it.
Can't do it.
You have to, years ago, Karma, I made the decision. I said, could I be the best technician I can be? Can I be the best technician out there? And my answer was no. I mean, there's some guys out there that could work circles around me. And I said, so what can I do? I can be the best business owner that I can be. And that's where I focused all of my time on. I hear guys talking about all these different things, all these techniques that they do with their tools. And I'm thinking, here's my tool right here. See this? It's a pen. My pen, my computer, my phone, and I'm changing the world, and not 4 wheels at a time either. I mean, we're shaking things up, baby.
Attaboy. So you left Dad. Was that in Chicago, Jerry?
No, it's Detroit. I was in
Detroit. So you went to Texas and oh, by the way, I just want you to look behind Jerry. He is a coach, consultant, business builders mastermind. He's got a heck of a thing going, and it's not just for automotive, Jerry. You work with people from all walks of life in business, right?
Yes, that's true. I usually don't work with automotive people. I leave that for the elite. I leave that for Chubby Fredericks. I leave that for Ron Ipac and Jerry
Yeah.
Frank and all those guys because that's their niche. My niche is business.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
unfortunately, a lot of technician slash owners struggle with the business end of the business, and they don't see it, unfortunately.
Well, I'll echo that. That's a huge thing, Jerry. I think that's one of the biggest problems with our industry is the majority of shop owners are technicians. And I hate to say we don't know what we don't know. And we get into this situation of all of a sudden you're an owner and you're making insurance decisions, financial decisions, and banking decisions. And you really don't know how to make them. You don't, it's not like working on cars. It's a totally different world.
Carl, you're spot on. They fly by the seat of their pants and wonder why their business is not functioning. Why
Yeah.
do they close? Listen, I've hired so many great technicians that owned their own business for a year or 6 months or 9 months or 2 years, and then they came to me and said, "I don't know how you do it, man. Can I have my job back?"
Yeah. Yeah. I've kind of been on the other side of that. After they've owned it 4 or 5 years, it's really tough to get them out of that mindset of being a technician owner and being in control of it. And they don't understand. You can't go out and buy the new toy. You have to buy a tire balancer instead. You can't go out and buy a new razor or motorcycle or a pulling truck or whatever. But you got to have an alignment machine, or you got to invest in a technician, and I think that's a lot of what's wrong with our industry is, unfortunately, we're not. It took me a long time to figure out there's a world of difference between being a technician, being a service advisor, and being an owner. There's a huge difference.
Absolutely, man. I hired a mentor a number of years ago, and so here's a fun anecdote. I had the hots for this desk. And this desk was, I mean, it was like I wanted this for my office. It was a total ego
Oh, okay,
trip,
I
right?
get it. It's like you wanted to buy a physical desk. I thought you wanted somebody's job. But
No. I wanted this piece of furniture because it stroked my ego,
Yeah.
right? And I was looking at it. I was talking to my mentor, and I said, "Look at this desk. It's only $2,000."
Yeah.
And he looked at me and he said, "I know what your numbers are. Is that worth $100,000? Or no, it wasn't 100, it was $50,000." I said, "What are you talking about?" He says, "You're working on 4% net profit. You have to do $50,000 in service to buy that desk."
Yes.
And my jaw dropped. It's like, "No, it's only $2,000." He said, "No, you're working at 4% net profit.
Right.
What's 4% of this to get $2,000?" I went, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And the lights went off. And I will tell you to this day, I never bought that desk.
And you don't need it.
I
That's
didn't
the
need
thing,
it
you
then.
don't need it. Yeah, you don't need it.
That's a great story. But sooner or later, Jerry, you have to stop and say, am I the only one who knows I'm struggling?
Well, nobody knew I was struggling. Truly. Nobody knew.
I know one person that knows who you're struggling. That's your spouse. They know all.
Yeah.
They know all.
I was going through truly the toughest point of my life.
Mhm.
I ended up getting my marriage failed. I got divorced. It was messy. It was drawn out, expensive, very expensive, 7 digits. My businesses were struggling. I was $5 million in debt. That was $45,000 each and every month for principal and interest, just for principal and interest, plus insurance, utilities, payroll, maintenance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I found out employees were stealing from me. Holy brother, let me tell you, you better make some changes. You better figure things out really, really, really quickly, because I was going down the tubes on a greased slide. And, all the things that worked for me, that had been working for me, no longer worked. And I had to literally come up with new answers. I needed to learn how to get out of this mess that I had created. And I will tell you, bankers are not your friend. Bankers will
They are
never
not.
be your friend. Bankers will loan you money only when you need it. On my commercial property that I owned, I had bankers do additional every 6 months commercial real estate appraisals, and I never approved them, and they added it to the back end of my loan. When I wrote the check to pay off my loan, it cost me over $20,000 because these buzzards did that to me without my consent. And when I called them on it, they said, read paragraph this, this, and this in your contract. We have the right to do whatever we want. And I will tell you, I will never do business with a bank again as far as loans, ever, because they have enough big buildings. It's my turn to have big buildings, right?
Yeah.
I will tell you that 4.5 years ago, I had been struggling so hard to the point that my body gave up, and I spent 5 days in the ICU. I was within 1 hour of dying. I can tell you about bad times. I can tell you about being in debt. I can tell you about all this stuff. I've even had bankers tell me during that time, you need to declare. I said, declare what? They said, you need to declare bankruptcy. I said, you out of your mind? Are you out of your? I said, that's my name. That's Jerry Kazaya. That's my name on that freaking contract. I borrowed the money. I will pay it back. I don't care what it takes. I will pay it back. And I will tell you, I never declared bankruptcy. Things today are so totally different. All of my properties are free and clear of all mortgages. They're all paid off. I stayed in integrity. I was never late on a payment. I never missed a payment. I did everything that I figured out what it was I needed to do. And how did I do that? I hired a mentor. I hired a darn good mentor. Actually, at one time, I had 5 paid for business coaches. 5.
Wow.
And they were all in different areas to keep me on point. I listened to uplifting podcasts. I made sure that I had people to speak with, people to help me keep my thoughts on the positive, right? I exercised a lot, but more importantly, I never gave up. I never gave up. And my wife, who, just for the record, I got divorced and I was single literally 11 days. I was separated. I was legally separated from my first wife. And in 11 days, I went on a date with my second wife, and we've never been apart since. And she was ribbing me about my notes. And she says, mark down, tell everybody you drank a lot too. Right?
Okay, so you did have a crutch.
I'm human, for God's sake. I'm human. I promise. I said,
Well,
okay, Laura, I promise you, I will make sure I say that on the air, and it'll be recorded. And I'm still laughing about it.
So if anyone wants to go to the remarkable results .biz website and type in Dr. Laura, Jerry's wife, Dr. Laura Schwalek, has been on with us in the past. She's so kind, and Jerry's so smart. So
I keep telling her, I don't know why you married me. I just don't know. And then, it's really funny. Everybody was teasing me. They said, she's only marrying you for your money, right? I'm thinking, money. I'm $5 million upside freaking down. Are you kidding? She was paying me. My wife, my girlfriend, was paying me $500 a month rent so I could make my child support, for Christ's sake. And she's marrying me for my money. Oh, for the love of the Lord.
Yeah, I know. Stories. I get the stories. I truly get it. I can relate to that. So, but you did good, huh? You did good, Dr. Laura, huh?
I think so. I think I'm still the winner in that deal.
Wow. So I'm sure there's so much more to talk about. But Kevin,
Yes, sir.
you have struggled to get where you are today.
Oh, just a little bit. Yeah. Back when I was young and stupid and thought that just having the ability to fix cars and fix them well and to hustle and spend many hours doing it, I thought that that's all you needed to do to survive in business. Because from a tech side, working for people, that how hard could it be? It didn't look like the boss did an awful lot. He just kind of goofed off in the office while I worked my butt off out in the shop. So how hard can it be? I just got to fix a lot of cars. And not understanding that you can fix them all day long, but if you don't write them up in bill form properly, it isn't worth anything.
I gotta stop you because this is the most perfect soundbite for the rest of the industry. I mean, how many times have you all gotten up in front of people telling that same story, and that boom, could have had a V8 moment happened when you couldn't
Well,
pay the bills? You know the drill, right?
oh yeah.
'Cause
Well, I mean, Jerry getting married because for the money, because everyone has you're self-employed. You're rich, dude. You've got everything. No wonder.
You
Right?
got to be rich, right?
Yeah, for sure. You make money. People just hand you money walking in the door just because you're you. You
They
don't even
see,
have to
all
work
they
for
see
it.
is the money coming in. They don't see the
You don't have bills.
$100,000 a month going out, right?
There's no overhead. You just get it all for free.
Yeah.
So my dumb ass went into it with that perspective, like, how hard can it be? You know, I'd look at a list price on an invoice from the parts store and I'd be like, I'm not charging somebody that. That's screwing them. I'd add $5-10 onto something and move it down the road. Before you know it, I'm running my personal credit cards through the machine so I can make payroll that week. And then again and again, like you, I wound up like right on the edge of bankruptcy. My marriage, because of the stress, went to hell. It parlayed into my personal life. Health went down. Probably the same story for all of us. Your mental state affects your physical state, and it's so hard to just have the energy to show up and go to work. But you need to be there for 16 hours a day fixing the cars because that's what pays the bills, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Kevin,
just 16.
yeah, guy, did it feel like a charade to go in and smile like nothing's wrong?
It's not a charade, Carm. The show must go on. Listen, I hate to say this, customers don't give a shit what's going on in your life. Fix my car.
Yeah.
I mean, really, they don't care. And people today need to be entertained. And if you can't make them feel warm and fuzzy and happy when they're fixing their car, when they're paying you to repair their car, they're going to find somebody that will.
Yeah.
That's right.
The grumpy old buzzards behind the counter. Yeah, what do you want? Those days are gone.
Right.
We don't run like that this industry needs to get that. I still look, I secret shop. I go into Firestones, Goodyear's, Pep Boys, you name your franchise store. I go in there and I'm amazed at how many, what do you need?
Right.
What do you got? What do you got?
Yeah.
What I got? What is this, a pawn shop? I mean, what the hell are you talking about? What do you got?
Yeah, I heard it just today. I was at some place and they answered the phone, parts.
Right.
Parts.
Right.
Yeah. I was in the Guru of the Month Club. I could fix just about anything because that's what I prided myself on. But as soon as I didn't have time to drop everybody else for somebody, I wasn't their hero in that moment. So off they went to somebody else. So I learned after a whole lot of beating and abuse that people will take advantage of you all day long. Oh, you're the greatest. You're the best there ever was while you're fixing the problem right then and there. But come to paying the bill. Oh, Kev, I'll be back on Friday to pay that. Friday never came.
Yeah.
I lost.
Imagine if you had
$35,000 in 6 months.
If you had a nickel for every time you've heard you have a customer for life.
Yeah. For sure.
It's so true. I heard that today. Somebody wanted me to fix their tire pressures.
Oh, but wait a minute. I can get my tires for $3 cheaper down the street.
I had no idea what my value was. I prided myself on the feel good of fixing people's cars really well. So I didn't look at it like, well, I'm not some money grubbing, greedy booger. I'm going to help people and I'm going to fix cars really, really well. And not realizing that it finally took me realizing that every dollar that I gave to a customer, because I'd discount the bill before I ever gave it to them. I'd look at them and go, right, I can't charge them that much because I didn't see my own value. And I discount the price down before they even got it. And then they'd try to beat me up even more because I kind of trained them to do that. And then I realized, like, dude, you're stealing money out of my kid's pocket because every dollar I don't bring home is a dollar I don't have to take care of my son and my daughter. So you're stealing money from my kids.
Amen.
And that's where the line crosses. And I had to realize, like, okay, the feel good is not as important as taking care of my kids. My ego needs to go to the side and I need to realize that I suck at running a business and that I'm not good at this at all. And it doesn't matter how good I fix cars. If I don't bill for it and people don't actually reach in their pocket and pay, because I can write a bill all I want, but if they don't come back to pay it, it isn't worth anything. And, the combination of the two is a critical part that lets me be able to go, all right, we're eating today. You know, you get the clothes you need for school so you don't look like a bum when you walk in there.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
we have a place to live that's stable, that you don't have to be like, where are we going to live tomorrow? How's this going? And I had to personally see it as a threat to my kids to get me to straighten my life out.
Hey, Kev, I got a wild.
Bravo.
Yeah, yeah. High fives to you, man. So, did you ever stop and think and do some funny math in your head and try to figure out how much you left on the table until you turned it around?
I don't even want to think of the
Yeah.
hundreds of thousands of dollars that sat
Right.
there and just passed.
Hundreds of
Hundreds of
thousands of
thousands
dollars.
of
Yeah.
dollars just passed through. I spent damn
Um,
near 20 years sucking at business.
Oh,
I sucked really bad at it the first 5 or 6 years, and then I only sucked kind of a little bit, but a lot. It wasn't until I got a business coach and joined a peer-to-peer mentoring group that I realized that there's so much better ways to do this, and it's not about me making friends with the customer and them going, "You're the greatest ever." It feels cool, but it doesn't take care of the things that I need to take care of. It doesn't allow me to take care of my team. You need to have good people. I fortunately had some great people that stuck with me through my stupidity before I
wow.
realized, and I lost some amazing people because I remember looking back and I'm embarrassed to think of what I paid people because I didn't make very much. I worked at a Porsche dealership in the early 90s. I made $8 an hour at one. And when I left, I had left making 11 and change.
Wow.
Their door rate, I think, was 89. And so I didn't
Yeah.
see a perceived value for myself. So I didn't project that to anybody else. I went to one management class courtesy of one of our local parts stores. Like, dude, you need some help. You should go to this management class. And I went from feeling like, I was on an island to I was on an island full of shark infested water because this dude wanted my bank account something fierce. It wasn't like, and it was like a cult. It wasn't like, hey, how can I get better at business? It was like
Right.
joining a cult. This guy wanted fingers into everything. It wasn't like I was committed to fixing my
But
business.
Kevin, were you afraid of that because you really didn't know?
I didn't know what it was like going into it, but the further I got
Fear.
into it,
Yeah.
I think it was a 2-day class, and it started not feeling good.
So can you imagine the fear that he had in not knowing what he didn't know, and then the fear of an
You reach out for
aggressive?
help, and
Yeah.
it's somebody really aggressive and pushing him like,
Yeah.
holy crap, I'll figure this out on my own.
Yeah.
I don't need if this is what help is, I don't need this. So that brought on like another 5 years more worth of struggling and sucking
Yeah.
because the help that I reached out for was not
Man,
good.
that's tough getting bad help. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we all reached a point in our business life and our personal life that we decided that, hey, I need some help because I don't know what the next step is. I mean,
Yeah.
we had
One-
hit a ceiling and it's just we don't know how to get over it, get through it. And
Mhm.
I think you guys mirrored what I said or what my thing was is I reached out for help and I think we all had some great mentors around us and really that circle of influence of saying, when I asked for help, it was where do
Yeah.
I find help? And then
Yeah.
the mentor said, well, I've already been there, done that.
Mhm.
And this is where you need to go. These are the questions you need to ask. What they didn't tell me was how uncomfortable I was going to be doing all of that.
Oh yeah. But you think back 25 years ago, damn near 30 years ago, I started into this.
Hmm.
There wasn't an internet there was no Facebook. MySpace was just kind of becoming a thing. We were still on dial up. There were like chat groups and stuff, but there was no known support groups that you could join. Like nowadays you can type in and search and there's all kinds of different support groups you can join into.
Right.
You went to the library or you talked to friends. That was it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Hang on. I want to come back in our next segment, and I want to talk about being uncomfortable with change. Hey, don't just imagine how much more profit you can make on every part. Tap into the Parts GP Optimizer and watch your profits grow. Better, yeah, it's an algorithm and it works, so your brain doesn't have to. Talk to my friends at getshopware.com. Hey, when you turn to Delphi Technologies for your chassis needs, quality is always forefront. Material and dimensional enhancements, as well as 700 hours worth of salt spray testing, goes into each and every chassis part produced. Visit DelphiAftermarket.com to see over 8,000 chassis parts Delphi has in stock. Hey, thanks so much. This has been phenomenal, guys. And listen, Carl, you dropped the who thing, okay? The who thing.
Right. Are you waving at me, Jerry?
Can I say one thing?
Oh, please go.
I want to. Before you get into the next topic, I want to
Yeah.
talk about asking for help.
Okay,
Yes.
I was a young shop owner. I'd only had my business going for not even 2 years, and this guy comes in and tells me, he says, "I'm going to be your hero." I don't need a freaking hero, dude. I'm the hero. I'm the guy that fixes everybody's stuff, right? I'm the hero. I had my ego go. He says, "No, you don't understand." I said, "How are you going to be my hero?" He says, "I'm going to save your life with the IRS." 3 little letters that gets everybody's attention.
Yes.
IRS. Right? I went, "Okay, you have my undivided. How are you going to be my hero?" He says, "I'm going to take care of all of your employment taxes. I'll file your quarterly reports. I'll take care of all that stuff for you." And I said, "Okay, cool." And he said, "I'm going to charge you this much money." Little bit of money. All right, that's cool. We went through and it took 5 quarters. 5 quarters. So a year and 3 months. And this guy would come by and he'd say, "Hey, I saw that you were busy last week, so I just went ahead and I paid the IRS for your 941s. And I filed it for you. So here's your copy. Just write me a check."
Oh.
And so I would write him a check for the entire quarter's worth of stuff. And after five quarters, it's a year and 3 months, this fella, I'll leave the names out. He's standing at my counter one day. I'm talking to a customer, checking, delivering the vehicle. And I said, "Can I help you?" He walks in. He says, "No, go ahead. I'll wait." That's okay. So he waits. The lady leaves, and I said, "What can I do for you?" He says, "Do you?" And I'm around the counter on his side of the counter because I walked the lady out to her car and came back in. Right? I said, "What can I do for you?" He said, "I'm so and so of the U.S. Treasury Department Internal Revenue Division Collections." I said, "Yeah, what can I do for you?" He goes, "Do you know what a 941 is?" And in my typical smart aleck self, I said, "It's after 940 and before 942. I don't know where." This is like circa
Wrong it there.
Yeah, right.
You think? This is circa 1985. This guy grabbed me by my lapels, threw me up against the wall, shoved his badge in my face. I could see his pistol inside his coat, and he was threatening me with everything from taking my home, my business, my cars, etc., etc., etc. And I said, "But look, I've got the receipts. I paid the guy. Here's the checks." "You didn't pay us. You paid him. He never paid us. We never got your money." By the time it got all done, those 5 quarters cost me $73,000. Penalties, interest, etc., etc. So the caution that we run into, and Kevin, you addressed it, partially, right? When you ask for help, how do you know that it's legitimate
That is
help?
good help.
Yeah.
Right? Today, it's a heck of a lot easier. Back in 1985, we're 10 years before the internet. What the hell how would you know? Right?
Yeah.
And the guy was local. He was literally across the street from me. Well, let me tell you, after the IRS agent came and knocked on my door, I kicked his in, and he had gone. Office was vacated.
Oof.
So I had no recourse other than to sit with those people from the 3 letters that everybody loves and deal with it. It was a bad time in my life, on top of everything else, trying to figure out how to run a business, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
So, wow. Yeah.
Brutal.
Make sure that when you're asking for help, people have at least some place, where am I going today? I own everything. I own the whole corner.
Look at you
I'm
go.
here to help people. Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was a day
Wow.
late on a postmark on a sales tax, right amount and everything, but the postmark was 1 day late, and it cost me $3,800 in fines and penalties.
Yeah.
And that was 25 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So-
government does not play.
Mm-mm.
They like your money a lot.
Yeah.
More than
So-
we do.
Yes.
And they're willing to fight you over it.
We were going to talk about the Who thing that Carl brought up, and so but
This is a
that's a
Who.
great.
Come on, Harm. Harm is a Who.
Oh, Jerry, that's a good Who story. But
Right.
it's a real good Who story, and again, there's your vulnerability to looking to. I mean, listen, I got another. I'm not even going to tell this story about someone walking in and telling an individual how he was going to help them sell his business. And oh, by the way, if you have an internal candidate that you want to sell it to, you really need to be concerned with the IRS and how they may treat the gift tax if you sell it for too little.
Oof.
And I mean, I don't know, guys, you've been around a little bit, and that was a huge come on for a non-family member to have to, for him anyway. So even today, there's still that stuff going on that you have to be so careful about.
Always.
There's scams all around us. I got a letter in the mail. It's got to be a scam about this PPP forgiveness stuff. And it's just like they're trying to forgive something that's already been forgiven. They're a little late, but there's still scams around us all the time. I mean, if your accounting department is not paying attention, they just pay the bills and go on.
Yeah.
You mean I really didn't buy an extra warranty for my car? Is that what you're saying?
Right. Well, and there's
I'm still waiting for
little
the Nigerian prince to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
But wait a minute, I heard from him last week.
Right.
Wait a minute.
Listen,
Maybe he
Jerry, when he
misspelled my
gets back to me, I'll send him your way.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm so my camera's goofed up. Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that. There's two Carms.
You're beside
Listen,
yourself. You're like,
I know. I'm going to let you guys go, but and I'll come back so this doesn't drive you nuts. But
well, it's kind of entertaining.
and it's a happy face.
It's a short trip for me. I'm good.
I'll just keep laughing so it matches the video. Oh my God! So let's talk about being uncomfortable with change and how tough it is for you to realize you've got to do so many things in a different way that you've been your mentor, your coach is telling you, and you're so uncomfortable with it that you believe it's wrong. And I may want to live in this area of despair for the rest of my life because I'm not that person someone wants me to be. Carl, why don't you lead that off, and I'll be right back.
I tell you, when we finally reached out for help, and we joined a 20 group, and I went through the whole process of the financials and stuff like that. I kind of thought I knew what I was doing and thought I had my crap together, and really was just trying to figure out how to be better, to really, to succeed. And then they came back and it's like, do you realize you could be doing 4 times what you're doing out of the same space that you're in? It's like, no, I can't do that. That's impossible. We're already at capacity.
People would never pay that.
Right. They'll never pay that.
Not around here. You don't know my neighborhood.
Our customers are different.
Yeah. I think I said all of those things.
Our employees would never do that. There's no way we could get them to do that.
Yeah.
You don't know our people.
That might work where you're from, but not around here.
Right. And then our first meeting, my gosh, it was just like, you got to be kidding me. I just did not have any idea. I mean, honestly, I was flabbergasted. And especially when they told me, they come in and did our review, and it's like, oh, your service advisor's got to go. What do you mean? I like that service advisor. Oh yeah, that guy's got to go. And it's like, man, you talk about being uncomfortable, and just everything had to change. And honestly, I didn't know that it was broken. I thought it was great. I thought we had a great system. I thought we had a great plan, and I thought we were doing well, and it was all broken. And the biggest broken piece of it was me. That was the killer. And I hate to say, I'm a pretty stubborn Missourian, and it took me about 5 or 6 years to figure out I had to change. So it was a slow growth.
How about you, Kev? Same thing. I mean, how long did it take you to make the 180?
I'm still struggling. So, I mean, our generation doesn't ask for help. the suck it up buttercup generation. We don't
Right.
whine or cry about it. Get up, dust yourself off, keep going.
Work through the
Asking for help,
pain.
it's a sign of weakness. You just don't
Mhm.
do that. So to finally break down, we were in pretty crappy position when we finally broke down and got a coach. And then, he's going through a list of a bunch of different things. I'm like, crap, I suck at that. I suck at that. We do that. That's wrong. That's wrong. I suck at that.
That's right.
And I had to feel better about myself. I had convinced myself that doing certain things was a moral conflict. Like, I can't charge that. That's unethical. And I had convinced myself that it was unethical because somehow I saw profit as dirty or wrong and taking advantage of people, rather than that's the purpose of business and to take care of your team and your family. So I adjusted how I felt about things to justify it to myself that I wasn't wrong for doing it. So there was no longer an absolute that I measured myself by. I measured myself off my feelings rather than facts and numbers and figures. Uh, so yeah, change. The problem's here. Me adjusting to accepting that a parts matrix, a labor matrix. I was so unregimented that, like I said, I'd look at this part slips from the parts store. I'm like, I can't charge list. Sometimes I'd put $10 on it. Sometimes it'd be 25. Sometimes I'd
Right.
use a percentage of a margin. I was so all over the place that there. How can you measure and see where you're failing or where you need to improve when I was just winging everything? So there's
Yeah.
no patterns to anything. So when you step back and you look, you go, man, you're loose all over the place. It's not like, hey, we're doing well here, but if we tweak this a little bit, we could do a lot better with that. There's no looking at any model to see where I failed with there, because it was just like, it's all over. Uh, I wasn't real standardized on my labor. Like, okay, well, the book says 5, but I'm pretty sure I can do it in 2. And then I get my ass kicked and it takes 7. So it wasn't,
Right.
everywhere that you could do something stupid.
Yeah, you were playing with fire. I mean, you literally had gasoline in a matchbook.
Damn straight I did. But I was invincible. You weren't going to beat me. I could fix anything. Just ask me. I'll tell you. Except for myself. That was the only thing they couldn't fix. And, thank God Cecil's strong-willed and hard-headed a little bit. Cares enough to stick with it, because from the outside, I am not a pleasant person to deal with. I am stubborn, and I can justify the hell out of anything. And I was the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Like you said, Carl, accepting that I have to change. The problem's me.
Right.
No.
Yes, that's
Absolutely.
my wife's in the background going, yeah, change.
Yeah, I'm sure Lisa's cheering right now, going, "You tell him."
Jerry, was that your problem, or we're just overwhelmed with stuff?
Boy, I don't even know where to start. So
I think overwhelm comes from that.
Yes.
Well, at the time I had 3 companies I was running. And subsequent to that, what I've learned is never start a second company until your first company is running without you. I didn't
Good
have
advice.
that. I didn't understand that, right? And I tell this to guys that say, I'm going to open a second shop. Is your first shop at full capacity with you being gone for a month? If it's not, all you're going to do is have 2 mediocre shops if you open a second one now. It's just my experience, right? Just my experience. And I will tell you that I regularly take months off right now, and like a full month, and I'm gone. No email, no phones, no nothing, and the businesses have to run. So for me, it was a complete different. I was overwhelmed. I had the basics understandings of business, but I didn't have it dialed in to the point where I needed it to be dialed in. And that's where my mentors, coaches came in. And, at the time, at one time I had 5 companies, and I'm running 5 companies. And one of them, I was talking to them on a Tuesday, and he said, what are you wearing right now? And I looked down, and I said, I'm wearing my shop uniform. Why? And he said, how many companies do you own? I said, 5. And he said, why do you only represent 1?
Good question.
It was a damn good question, right? And then The next day, I was talking to my other coach, and it was a God thing, man. He said, "What are you wearing?" I'm wearing my uniform.
I thought he was going to say
I,
khakis.
he said, "Why are you wearing a uniform?" I said, support the team, right? All that stuff. And he goes, "How many companies do you own?" He said, "What about the other 4?" And I scratched my head. And he goes, "Don't you own?" He goes, "You own commercial real estate, right?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "So when someone comes to talk to you about leasing a large space and you're wearing an automotive mechanic uniform, how's the leasing working for you?" And I'll tell you, I am not exaggerating. I had a lot of space that was vacant, and the next day I had an appointment to show a large space, 10,000 square feet space. And I showed up. I was wearing nice khaki slacks. I had a white button down shirt. I had a vest on. I had nice leather shoes on. And I pulled up in my Cadillac Platinum Escalade, and that guy signed a lease right then and there, 10,000 square feet.
Nice.
And after we got to know each other, he literally told me, he said, "I want you to know something. If you had shown up in your uniform, I would not have even spoken with you." Now, that's a thing on society.
Yes.
My frickin' what I wear doesn't make a damn difference of who I am or what I know or what I do or what I'm capable of.
Mhm.
But appearances,
Yeah.
well, you have one shot to make a good first impression.
Yeah.
And when I pulled up in a frickin' Escalade and I jumped out like I am the man that I am, a successful individual, right? The
Mhm.
guy went like, "Okay, we're on a level ground here. Let's do business."
Well,
Yeah.
image perception, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing, and like, I mean, think about it. 2 different coaches don't
Mhm.
know each other still to this day. Asked me the same question 2 days apart. The next day, I signed a $400,000 lease.
I used to justify it. I don't have time to clean the shop. I'm way too busy. People come here because I'm good.
Yeah.
The differences in the way that the customers perceive the whole business and everything
Yep.
totally changed. Clean the place out, epoxy the floors, brighten up
Yeah.
the walls, improve the lighting. The way that customers interact with us, our clientele is completely different than it used to be, and
Yep.
the way that people interact is totally different. And I never wanted to believe that, but it's the truth.
It
Yeah,
is.
it's a great
It
piece of
really is.
advice that one of my former bosses gave me. He says, "You always want to look professional first." He says, If you look professional first, you've won them over. And
Mhm.
you can do just about anything as long as you back it up.
Mhm.
You'll always be a professional. But if they come in and they see the crap, they step over the transmission fluid leaking through the parking lot, they see you're in tattered clothes and you got a cigar hanging out of your mouth, and it doesn't matter how good you are.
Yeah,
Absolutely does not matter how good you are. You'll never be a professional in their eyes.
true.
Yep.
Hey, guys, I want to stop for one more minute, come back with our last segment. Hey, why wait until the end of the month for your accountant to tell you how things turned out? Well, with advanced analytics, you can compare any metric anytime, so you don't need to guess. It's all part of getshopware.com. And with over 2,300 SKUs and 95% sales coverage on fuel pumps, Delphi has everything you need to replace your customer's fuel pump, from OEM quality pumps, modules, GDI pumps, and fuel tank cleaning supplies to instructional videos. Get started. Talk to my friends at DelphiAftermarket.com. Wow. This was actually more fun than I expected it to be. I thought we were going to, this was
Right.
going to be a very somber discussion of woe is me. I had a ball and a chain on me. But you guys made it fun. You told some really great stories. But I have a question for you all, and let's just see how we can tie this all up. And my thought is about recovery time.
Mhm.
There's a point in time where you realize, okay, you've told all the great stories. I finally found myself, my direction, my coach, my mentor, and I accepted it. And if someone's listening to this and this is, well, did it take Jerry 10 years? I don't think I have the guts to do that. Kevin, you talk about recovery time from the revelation that you have to change. Give me some thoughts.
Okay, I'll use an example. Matt Wag is a gentleman that you've had on the show before. Matt and I have become friends strictly through your show where he responded back from some stuff. Matt, I think, is brilliant as a young businessman, has immediately taken into getting a coach and learning. He scrolls through your podcast. He's a studier of the business, and he's learned to look at it as a business. He's learned to look at people who have made mistakes and see where their changes were. I've talked back and forth with him a lot about, this is where I struggled, this is where I was. For me, I'm 8 years with a coach, and there's still every now and then I need to slap upside the head to bring me back in line. Whereas he's a young guy, and he hasn't developed the years of really bad habits and the years of all the stupidity that goes along with that. And he's brilliant in what he does and the direction that he's bringing his team and the way he's growing. I think, honestly, some of it has to do with time. I mean, the point in time in which I was in the midst of my struggle, which I laugh and joke about it right now, but when I was in the middle of it, God, there were days I did not want to get out of bed. There were days that I just didn't want to go anymore. So it was when you get beat down for that long, it takes a long, long time to recover and come back to feeling like you're worth something and you're worth doing what you need to do to survive and to kind of rebuild yourself. I think if you're younger and you've kind of hit that point earlier with all the information, your recovery time is much sooner. I guess if I could, put it on par with drinking. Somebody that's young and just, started drinking and gets a little out of control can recover it a lot faster than somebody who's been doing it for 50 years. And then, you struggle every single day and it's in the back of your mind constantly. So for me, it's been a long, hard struggle coming back from and not falling back into the old habits. I am not in the office right now, bills. I'll critique them technically, but I stay away from the number side of the bill because that's still an area where I mean, I see the value of our guys and our team, what we provide. I just stay out of the office as far as the bills go. I'll talk to customers all day long. I'll talk to the clients.
You've made some incredible strides. Incredible.
I can't believe that we're opening a second location.
See,
Dude, I almost crashed and burned and lost my house. My marriage broke up. My kids weren't in the place that I wanted them to be. I mean, I almost lost everything and then some. And we're opening a second location that's not only going to be a great repair shop, but thanks to you going, hey, get on your advisory board in your local technical high school. And we did. And I went in and I talked to kids and I mentored them. And I saw the hope in their eyes. And I became an evening automotive instructor in their adult program at night.
Hey,
and that's so rewarding.
I'm so proud, so happy. Do me a favor.
It's all you.
On camera, would you pinch yourself? Everyone, okay. Just checking.
I stand in front of the building that we just got the building permit for, and I look at it and I go, regular people don't own stuff like this. This is faceless corporations.
Here we go.
Faceless corporations have this at pillage and plunder people.
And so I get it. You have to be humble before you can be proud. Yeah. Okay. But you should be very proud right now.
Yeah. And I'm proud of my team. I have got, working with your wife is a struggle, but Lisa works her ass off in the business and she's amazing to work with.
Cool.
We don't always have the greatest of days together. I think that's part of being married and having different personalities. But having great support, someone that can talk to you honestly and go, hey, I think you're starting to go off the track again. And there's a way to say it that will bring somebody around. There's a way to say it that'll put up all the defenses and bring on a wall and a war.
A wall and a war.
Yeah. Yeah. You're hiding behind your defenses and you're launching fireballs because your ego gets in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But she has a way of approaching me most times that goes, hey, I think we're starting to do that. And we need to come back in this way. My shop foreman is like, dude, are you under a lot of stress lately? Because you're a little bit of a jerk right now. I'm like, whoa, okay, I'll bring that
Yeah.
back in. And I
Yeah.
greatly appreciate his honesty. And he's taken ownership in this, and he's
Yeah.
mentoring the guys. I've got some young guys that he's he's making sure that they're on track with their learning. It's like, we need to make sure that they've got their hours of training time in, and they're up on this, and they're coming on their certifications.
Mhm.
And I've got a great team that I'm so
Hey,
proud of.
hey, Kev,
Yes,
he doesn't want to go backwards. That's
not at
the
all.
key. Lisa doesn't want to go backwards.
No.
But you aren't. Every once in a while, you're right. We fall off the track and we're not paying attention. So thank you
Yeah.
for that. I so appreciate that, Carl. Recovery. Any great advice to give our listener?
I love what Kevin said. The longer you've done things poorly and you have all these bad habits, the longer it takes to break them, and the longer you hang on to them because they work.
They're safe and they're comfortable.
The guys that come into this industry, I call them the young guns. They come in and it's just like, my God, they're doing like 3 times what we're doing in a year, and it's like, how do you do that? And it's like, well,
How'd
they
you
don't
learn
know
so
any
quick?
different. I mean, they just do what they've been told, and they just excel at it.
Mhm.
But I really think the recovery time is as quick as you're going to allow it to be
Yeah.
when you get out of your own way. And you got to go back to trusting the people around you, trust your mentors, trust your circle of influence. And that's, man, for me, that was hard. I have a lot of trust issues. And when you finally decide that, hey, they know more than I do, let me try that. I'll tell you what, let me just try that for a day. Let me try it for a week. And then you figure out, well, that works. And so, yeah, I think everybody has to give themselves some space to grow. The thing is you got to decide.
Yeah.
That's it. You just got to decide. There's got to be a point in time that you say, I don't know, or I'm stuck, or I can't make my payment, or I can't buy groceries. And you got to decide to do something. And then from then on, for us, it's been great. I mean, it's been a long haul because I was a jerk, and and I know it. So, but I think everybody's recovery is going to be different based on really what are their goals? What do they call success?
The first episode I ever did with Carl.
You're gonna make me cry now, aren't you?
No, it was the I'm a Jerk episode.
Yeah.
And and so it just made me remember that. Hey, Jerry, I'm going to give you the last word on this recovery thing. But do goals figure in here at all?
Absolutely. Without question. And I'll just tell you, both guys have hit on something already. And as a business coach, I want to say that it's much easier for me to help someone as they start their business as opposed to someone who's been in business for 30 years and I have to kick out all those terrible bad habits that they've created, right? It's easier to start on the right path than to change the direction. As far as my recovery, it started off when I decided, as Carl said, you must decide. And I decided I'm either going to go down in flames or I'm going to make a shit ton of money. And I'm just telling you, I increased my labor rate by 35% in one swift key punch. 35%. My service advisors, their eyes bugged out. We increased our parts matrix and they said, you're going to go out of business. I said, and I'm going to go out with a shit ton of money too, because I'm tired of working for free. I've got enough friends. Hey, can you do me a favor, buddy? No, I'm done with that. I'm here to, I have look, at the end of the day, I got this much time left, this much. Right? See all these gray hairs? I've earned them. But and as that timeline gets shorter, you get more and more serious about what it is that you want with the rest of your life. And I'll tell you, the reason most people don't get what they want is because they don't know what they want. They never take the time to figure out what it is that they want. I have a with business builders, that's the first thing that we have every single coaching client do. It's a 45-minute exercise. If you like, I'll give it to you, Carm. You can give it to your guy, to your people on your show. But I will tell you that the people that we give it to never do the exercise. Historically, never do it. If they don't pay attention. Listen to that again. If they don't pay, they don't pay attention. The recovery starts when you decide to make a difference in your own life and to figure out what the heck it is that you want with the rest of your life and when you want it by and why you want it. When you add the why to it, see, when you understand the why, the how is irrelevant. It doesn't matter. The how will figure itself out.
Yeah.
You just have to know what and why. Because if you know, I want to make $1 million a year. Okay, what are you going to do with it? How will that change your life? Will that change your life? What kind of philanthropic gifts will you create? Oh, I'm just going to put it in the bank. I'm going to buy a Lamborghini. What the hell are you going to do with it? I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, come on. What are you going to do with a Lamborghini or a Ferrari? Now, I mean, we don't live in that world, right? So let's figure out what it is that you really want, what it is that will really get you to where you want to be, and then get there. It's simple. Recovery, it can be as quick. In my case, I started making money the first month I changed my mind. Like, boom, I said, I'm done being broke. I'm effing done being broke. I want to be able to provide for my wife. I want to provide for my kids. I want to provide for me. And I want to travel. And Karma, as you know, except for the last 2 years, I've spent 11 years traveling the world. We travel an average of 130 days a year while running 7 companies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that, and by the way, we've had 3 successful exits. So now I'm down to 4, but I just bought a cattle ranch. So I wanted to be a cowboy.
Jerry, I don't know if you know this, Jerry, but you're contributing to climate change.
No, you don't understand. They want us to do. We're raising grasshoppers now. I've got really smart grasshoppers, and I'm training them to say moo.
They're really growing that locust
really
that they
big
talk about.
grasshoppers, man. I mean, I'm telling you, these suckers are huge. They're like 1,500 pounds. And they go moo. Some of them have horns. I don't get it.
Oh my God. Listen, climbing out of despair, and we probably laughed so much because I guess it really takes that human side of someone wanting to come out and tell you about, your story and be able to look back and laugh. Jerry, you made such a great point about the timeline. And when we're a little younger, we don't feel it. And tomorrow's never going to get here. And I've got time to, time. Screw it. Another couple of years, I keep digging the hole that I'm in. And then when you get to have a little gray, you say, look at what I wasted. And if there's not enough people listen, I do this for a living to advance the aftermarket. And every time I get done with an episode, I just say one thing. Thank you for being here. And then I turn off the studio and I walk out and I say, I hope this episode will change just one life in the industry.
Can I give
Start
you
your
a
retirement
visual?
now.
Can I give you a visual?
Yeah, Jer.
Good.
Here's a visual. I don't know if you guys remember. I go back a long time. It was the early 90s Chevrolet Suburban, the round-bodied Suburban. When it first came out, I was drooling. I drove an 87 Suburban at the time. And I was drooling at one of those. I saw it go down the street, and I'm standing at the window of my shop, and the customer standing there. He goes, "What are you looking at?" I go, "Man, look at that Suburban. Isn't it beautiful?" He said, "Well, why don't you go buy the darn thing?" I said, "Oh, no, I can't afford that." All this stuff, right? The guy was brilliant. He took a tape measure, and he pulled it out. And at the time, the life expectancy of a man in the USA was 70 years of age. And he pulled it out to 70 inches. And he said, "How old are you?" And I remember, I said, "I'm 42. He put his fingers on 42 and looked at what was left between the 70 and said, "If not now, when?" Wow.
Yeah.
So now I'm 65 and 70. If not now, when? Right? Put your own number on the tape measure. And if you're not making money now, when are you going to start? And what the heck are you waiting for?
Yeah.
We're so busy being busy that we don't think about how much is going by. We're just
Exactly.
busy, not accomplishing anything. We're just busy.
And the next week I bought a new Suburban.
What an incredible mental picture. I mean, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take the tape measure. I'm going to lay it out on the floor, and I'm going to walk up to my age.
Right. Well, the life expectancy of a man today in the United States is 78.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
All right.
78. We've got a couple more inches.
How many How many
right?
inches do you have left?
Right. I mean, listen, this is a big deal. And,
Oh, it
and
is.
Except for Carl, who doesn't look like he's more than 12 for Christ. No. I'm so joking, right?
Right, yeah.
But I mean, we're all getting older. The average age of a tech in the United States is how old?
What's that number?
55?
I think it's
so like
58.
56.
Yeah.
56.
Is it really
58?
58?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So look at us, and we go, okay, 58 and 65. They're going to retire. That's 7 years. What are we going to do in 7 years?
Yeah, I need to take a consensus of all my employees and see where we're at.
I mean, how many of the guys come up to you at 50 and go, "My body hurts. I can't do this anymore."
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is
All
a
right.
real deal. You guys, we got to get serious about this industry. We really have to get serious about making the money that you need to make to live. See, people, what is the purpose of the business? Well, the business is to service the customers. No, the purpose of the business is support the lifestyle that the owner wants to have.
Mhm.
And so, if not now, when?
Yeah,
Right.
you're right, Jerry. But I also I don't want to leave the business family on the side, and again a whole nother episode on how we take care of our people.
Oh, it's all about your people. No. It's all about your
Right.
people. You have to take. If I don't have good people, I don't have anything.
Yeah,
Right.
you can't take care of you if they don't take care of the business with you.
Yeah, we take care of the business. Take care of your people. They take care of the business.
We could go on for hours. This has been too much
Yeah.
fun. Thank you for all of the great analogies, guys. I recommend that everyone takes a tape measure out and literally with all of your own people, really do this.
Yeah.
And walk, if you will, the ruler of life and try to make the decisions that are going to really have a profound effect on you and your family and your people.
Yeah.
Kevin Eckler, foreign car specialist, Poughkeepsie. Thank you, my friend. Jerry
Thank you, sir.
Kazaya, the Auto Shop, Plano, Texas, and Carl Hutchinson, Complete Automotive, Springville, Missouri, in the Ozarks.
Heart of the
guys,
Ozarks.
thank you so much for being here.
Love
right,
being
thank you.
here. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Carm.